Hey, Betterness Bays! Welcome to the Good, Better, Betterness podcast. Heads up, this episode takes us back a few months and was recorded on a previous edition of Wellness Wednesday.
What we explored and uncovered then is still true now, and we hope that this lands as a reminder that you matter first and always, full stop. Thank you for making space for us, and more importantly, for yourself. Oh, I gotta go up a little bit. How are you?
Great. How are you?
Oh my gosh, your glasses are amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
How can you hear me? Can you hear me clearly? Is there a lot of background music? Oh, good. Okay. See, listen, these iPhone, you know what I mean? They do their thing, right?
Yes, they work. All right.
They do. Thank you for joining us. And is it Aquania? I didn't say that right. I knew it already. Aquania. Oh, yeah. Beautiful. That's beautiful. It's giving mermaid. It's giving like
the
little mermaid.
Purpose of water, which is essential to life.
Is that what it means?
Yeah.
So I'm like literally a fish, right? Like anytime I'm around, I'm from San Diego, so that's why I'm like, this is giving me something right now. So that makes sense.
I love it. Yeah. Now, Ariel is popping because of Little Mermaid. So
but you've been that mermaid, okay? You've been out here. I love that. Well, thank you for joining me, and I'm glad that you can hear me because I am literally in the lobby of a hotel room right now. But we appreciate you, Nadine, saying that we're beautiful. Yeah. You are too. Yes, I love it. I love that we get to cross-pollinate, right? You get exposure to our audience and we get exposure to yours because that's what it's all about. Mm-hmm. It's trying to find, like-minded women that we are trying to make sure understand the value of wealth, mm-hmm. right? Because a lot of people think wealth is only money, but I'm excited about this conversation because even with your handle, right, the purpose of money, what does that mean and how does that tie into wellness? So we're going to get into all of that, but I want you to go ahead and introduce yourself and let everyone know where you are coming from.
Awesome. So my name's Aquania Escarne, and I'm the creator and founder of The Purpose of Money. It is a platform that educates women on how to build wealth through life insurance and real estate investing. I focus on strategies that will help you level up your finances and really build wealth. I am a mom, a wife, an avid traveler, a sugar addict. Okay. I love the cheap treats. And I love to talk about wealth, money, and all things women. So this is a great opportunity to share some of that with you tonight. So thank you for having me.
Of course. And yes, this is a perfect opportunity to talk through what does it look like to mesh those two worlds together. And people think that they're like this, right? Like completely one way over here and it's all the way on the other side. Like, no, our wealth and our money is really our wealth, money, and our wellness, right? Even down to like how we feel about our bodies, how we can care for our bodies, how we can afford to care for our bodies. Like, what does it look like to have money to the point where you don't have to struggle to find the right groceries, or you can go to the chiropractor at a blink of an eye because you don't copay what? We don't care what's right. So there are things that are much more aligned that I think we're thinking. And then, I think we're in this industry, right? Wealth, wellness, and it's easy to kind of think of those things that way. But let us know kind of how your journey started, right? You have been on this journey for a while as a wealth strategist and life insurance provider. Like, how did you get to B? If that's B, where was A?
Okay. So where should I start? Once there was a mom and a dad.
Okay, too far.
So, actually, interestingly enough, I've always had a passion about personal finances, even before I knew that it was called personal finances.
Oh.
So at 16, I'll start there. My dad bought me Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki.
Oh my gosh, my mom did the same thing. Like it, right? A whole paper on it. I was like, okay,
it's a game changer.
Yes.
At 16, I read that book and I was just like, oh, I need to do all the things.
Yes.
I need to do all the things.
Yes.
At 16, of course, I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it. So
Right.
I decided at 16, I was going to retire early. I decided I was going to invest in real estate. And I decided to start saving for retirement. So I got a summer job and I took my first paycheck. I remember $252.
Come on.
Retail. I was selling them clothes, girl. I was selling them clothes.
Listen, my first one was in retail too. Macy's and Express. Listen.
Yeah, I had like one of those strip mall stores, like, you know, the clothes. But that was like, you know, we out here, we're making money. And
Yep.
I didn't want to spend my check on in the store. You know, that's not where I got a job.
Yep.
So I told my mom, I was like, I'm going to go to the bank and I'm going to open up a Roth individual retirement account because Robert Kiyosaki said, this is how you save tax-free dollars. So I went in the bank and I was like, look, I need to start saving for retirement. This is what I want to do. The lady was like, what? Like, who are you?
This is at 16,
Yeah.
girl?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
That is crazy.
I wasn't playing. And so that's where my journey started because at 16, I did my summer job, but then I went back to high school. I was at boarding school and I went back to boarding school, but I babysat, I saved my change. Before there was a acorns and a digit, I was saving my coins. And so I couldn't always make contributions to the retirement account, but I would make at least one contribution a year. And sometimes it would be my coins, all the coins that I saved from the year. And so when people try to tell me like, I don't have money to save, they're never going to retire. I'm like, I used to roll my pennies. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I started small. You know, when I got to college, I worked 2 jobs, and was a full-time student. But I would try to save $25 a month, you know, or like whatever I can put towards my future. And then when I got a job, I was like, no excuses. We going all in. So I've definitely been saving for retirement from a really young age. But that first book sparked the idea. And I would say fast forward 2016, my family and I, we were living in Dubai for 3 years and then moved back to the U.S. in 2015. And I read an article. That said Americans don't have $500 saved for an emergency. And I said, how, Sway? Like, how does that work, right?
They didn't read the book, girl. They didn't
read the book. So I went to Facebook. And I was like, we gonna save every week. Save $500 with me. And the rest is history. I did my first savings challenge on social media. People were like, oh, you're pretty good at this. And I was starting to have fun. And then I turned it into freelance writing. And then I turned that into, oh, you should get licensed for life insurance. And then I turned that into real estate investors. So like it all started with the spark. So that's what I would say.
Okay, I put you on mute just in case. Right. I put myself on mute because I didn't want any of this background noise to get in the way of your story, because it's an amazing story, right? It's all about being like the seed, right, that gets planted that is often not planted in our communities, unfortunately. It is rare to have someone say, hey, take a look at this book and let's and actually give you the like confidence, right? Because I'm sure it was more than just like, here's a book, go do what you will with it, right? Like the confidence to say, okay, no, I'm going to take you to the bank so we can open this up, right? Yeah. And I wanted to mention like the fact that not everyone has that mentality around, like saving for one, but also the relationship with money, right? That whole role. I've been rolling my coins. I don't know what you're talking about. There's a really, I have her back right here. Let me show you. Nia Ray. Oh, so these are G's, and it's for Glamaholic Lifestyle. And she is an amazing Black woman based in Detroit who talks about some of these things, right? But she's like real, like down to earth. She's like the girl from around the corner, and she has a whole like 3-part video series, and it's called How to Lose $50 in a Month. And so I thought it was interesting because when you said I would just save $25 a month, if that's all I had, that's all I had, but I was going to save. And that is the key, right? If we lost like a $5 bill or a $10 bill or even a $100 bill, what we do, like, are we going to die? We don't die because we lost a piece of money, right? We go figure it out and do whatever. It's kind of like that mentality. Sometimes people need to shift it to say, no, you actually do have extra money, quote unquote, extra money, right? You will figure it out if you truly want to figure it out. And so I love when you said I was rolling pennies. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Down, my grandmother told me everything counts. And she, when I was a kid, going back in New York, summers in New York, shout out to my grandmother. She's gone now, but loves her to pieces. She would be like, we going to recycle the cans and get the 5 cent back. And I was like, yes. And then we were role playing. So it has always been in my spirit, like, every dollar counts, every coin counts. People talking about, I don't pick up pennies. I don't say pennies. I'm like, I don't know about you, but I don't leave money on the ground. And I don't let it pass me because it does add up. And, I still have the Roth IRA growing, that kind of hanging out there. I was able to use it to buy my first house because you can take money out of a Roth for a home purchase. And so it's just so many ways that one decision at 16 has still continued to help me grow and develop my finances. And I just love my younger self for even thinking to do that.
Yes. Come on, love my younger self. Working for that. I love that so much. And I love that you clearly were exposed to an amazing childhood experience wise, right? I can speak to that because knowing that you were in Dubai, right? Living there for 3 years.
Yeah. My job sent me there. So that's another thing, like finding the career that can get you to where you want to go.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but God is good in that too, because the seed for wanting to be a diplomat, which was my first career for 15 years, I was in diplomat, was in 7th grade. Like I was in 7th grade. They had a trip to Spain. I begged my mom to go, but I didn't have the money. My parents were divorced and my dad was in the military and my mom was an entrepreneur. So her money was like funny, right? So
that entrepreneur life.
But I love my mom to death because I would tell everybody, she taught me grit. She taught me the hard part about entrepreneurship.
Oh, yeah.
So when I grew up, I did it differently. But in 7th grade, I was like, I want to go on this trip. And so I started my first business. I sold candy to my classmates on the school bus, in the classroom, to the point where I made my parents a bet. I was like, look, if I come up with my spending money, will y'all pay for the trip? And they were like, yes. But they didn't think I would do it. Girl, I was in the gas station, in the corner stores, getting my inventory. I'm like, oh, okay, the blow pop sold out. We need to get more of those. And everybody likes Airheads, so we need to get more of those. The markup's going to be this, and this. So I got to Spain. I went to Spain in 7th grade.
Wow.
God is good. Because I'm a mom, I told you. I have 2 boys. My oldest is 12. He came home like 3 months ago and was like, oh my God, Mom, they're having a trip and I want to go. And he took the flyer and he brought it to me. And I said, look at God, it's the trip to Spain. And my son is going into 7th grade, just like I was.
That is crazy.
Like, Mom, I really want to go. I really want to go. And I was like, oh, I'm going to raise my back for you to go. Like, you going on this trip. Because I think back at how that trip inspired me to live all over the world, to experience cultures. And I went into diplomacy. Like, what is going to happen to my son when he goes on this trip? But not only that, I went to the info session and it's the same company. The same company.
Wow.
Is the same company doing his school trip. They've been around for 50 years. I said, full circle. Like
legacy. Okay. It's giving legacy. It's giving you prepared.
Yes.
Yourself, right? Your parents may have planted the seed, then you sprouted, and now it's like a full-blown tree with just not. This is amazing. I love this. That is a great example of what it looks like, right? I think sometimes we as entrepreneurs or just people in general right now, we are like that fast return, right? It's like, okay, I got to do this so that next year I can have whatever. That's all you. that things are going to return in 12 months, right? 24 months. Like sometimes it takes some years. Sometimes it takes a generation, especially if you're trying to change big things. Like, so I think that's beautiful to have that example and a story you can continue to tell. Maybe his son or daughter, right? Ends up doing as well. Oh, that would be so.
And my son's smarter than me because now we have technology, right? So,
oh yes,
I said to him, I made him a deal. I said, "Yo, we'll pay for it if you could come up with $1,000." I said, "Can you put 1,000 on the trip?" He was like, "Oh, that seems like a lot." I said, "Rashad, that's his name." I said, "Rashad, you raise money for heart disease and you raise $1,000 calling your friends, family, and your
so you know how to hustle.
You can raise money,
right?"
So he said, "Oh, that's right. I forgot I did that. I can do it." You
come on,
boy. Went to grandma's house, did some chores, pop, gives him some stuff to do, came home with $200. Then he goes, tells my dad, like, "I'm trying to go to Spain, grandpa, help me out." He gets $200. I said, "Boy, you already have your family there." And like, no. And he ain't sold no kids, right? Had no one different, no cheap money, nothing.
Love it. Because it's supposed to get better, right? Like that's the point.
Yeah.
Like the point is so that, okay, if I had to hustle like that, I need my next generation not to have to hustle like that, right? To know how to, perhaps, if they need to. Yeah, they shouldn't have to, right? And now there's more brain power and brain space for creativity and adventure. Girl,
Landing page.
I'm so proud of you. Yes. I love it. I love it.
Contribute to my trip.
Because he's using that technology, right?
Yes.
I love that. I love that so much. So you have clearly had an amazing experience, just again, life, etc. What do you think, even for yourself, like what were some of those challenges, even as a, we could get specific, as a Black woman trying to build wealth? Your access to information, perhaps, or just like what people are thinking when they see you try to do certain things. What challenges in general have you experienced and in your work, right? As a strategist, what do you see is kind of a challenge?
I love when people underestimate me. Because then they don't see me coming, right? They're like, yes. So mine is, I help a lot of people who think it can't be done. They convince themselves, I don't have money. I can't find the money. You're not going to find it either. I'm just broke. And that's how it's going to be. And then I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. First of all, you're not going to talk like this. First of all.
Right.
But then I find the money or I help them really focus on what the real issues are, right? So sometimes the challenge is hearing the truth. And I'm so frank and honest. Like, I don't have time to be sugarcoating. Sometimes you need to make more money. I be like, look, you trying to live this life and you're trying to like do these things.
Oh, this is
the math ain't mathing. You need to make more money. And I'm not even saying, like, some of my clients, they're not trying to have luxury vacations. They're trying to eat. They're trying to feed their kids. They're trying to do some activities for their kids so that they're not in the street. They're trying to do essentials and they're not making it work. And I'm like, well, have we looked at building our skills, getting more education? Mm-hmm. Have we looked at freelancing, side hustles? Have we looked at applying for part-time work to do what you do for somebody else from 9 to 5?
Yep.
Have we explored all opportunities to make more money? Have we cashed in our cash back on our credit card and take down the balance that we pay interest on? It's just little stuff like that where sometimes I meet with people, I'm like, why you got $400 cash back, but you owe on this card? Cash back could be applied to your balance, right? And like,
you just pay on interest because you want to pay interest at this point.
Right? or you're like, oh, I want to use it on that trip that I'm. No,
but you wasted money. You giving money right now.
I was like, well, this 30% interest rate says otherwise.
Woo.
I think you should, So, but I will tell people that.
Yeah.
And they don't see it coming because they're like, oh,
yes,
she's so nice. She's super sweet. And then I'm like, no, we're going to be realist about this situation, right? Because we got to get you out of this situation.
Right,
and
right.
I'm so glad I see the outcome, though, because I have clients who are single moms who were like struggling, and then they applied for that job. They're like, you know what? I've done my time. I got my experience. Now it's time for me to use that to get more money and leverage my retirement benefits and do that and other. But that's my biggest thing is people underestimate me, and then they don't see me coming. So, you know, when I announced like, oh, I'm a hotel owner in 2020, people were like, hotel who? Like, what you mean? And I'm like, oh, you know, like a Hilton where you go stay and you get your room key and you check in. Yeah, I own one of those. You know, like making it clear.
Wow.
You know, and then
like somebody can actually do that. It's not Mr. Hilton who owns
right. So then you have to explain. I'm like, yeah. And I brought in my family member and, you know, some other people. So it's 6 women. Like we just holding it down. And they're like, what? You know, so you gotta, so that's been a thing too is,
wow.
I have to repeat my story, which I don't mind because I want it to really resonate. And the first time it don't always hit because they be like, I don't understand. I thought all hotels were owned by the corporate location. No,
right.
Corporate has franchises. Franchises are owned by investors.
Yeah.
Or just a lot of miseducation out there. I know life insurance. And somebody will tell me, well, Dave Ramsey said, and I'm like, stop.
Oh, stop right there, actually. Stop right there.
Okay. You know, or so sometimes I have to defend.
Yeah.
I had somebody tell me today they don't like to learn about life insurance because it's against their religion. I said, so who's going to bury their family member? Like when they pass away, who paying?
Never heard that one. That's a new one.
So I was like, what? And I said, on what basis? Like, what I said, so when a family member dies, they pass the hat in the church? Because if you don't have life insurance to cover the final expenses, to pay for the family's future, what's paying for that? Who's paying for that?
Your religion. But I have questions.
I said, but unfortunately, it wasn't the source, right? Because if it was the person, I'd be like, but I heard somebody said it to me like, oh, yeah, you don't believe that these people have said to me about life insurance. And like somebody said to me, they don't believe in it because it's against their religion. I said, what religion is that?
Yeah, I need to look that up. Tell me what scripture?
Yeah,
I would like to know.
I said, because in the Bible, it says you're supposed to leave a legacy for your children's children's children.
Yeah.
So if God is saying to leave a legacy, who's telling you not to get insurance?
That part. And like you said, are we passing the plate?
Yeah.
It's going to happen either way. And one is going to either bankrupt some people because they got to pay for this, right? This funeral. But now we actually have funds that can take care of us while we're grieving, that can take care of different things like debts that this person had. Like, come on, make it make sense.
Yes, make it sense. I'm like, please. They couldn't explain it to me either. It was like, I don't get it.
Yeah, that is crazy. And I want to make sure to note really quick, because you said Dave Ramsey, and there's already a full stop on that. This whole save your coffee money so you can live whatever life. I think a key piece that's different from the way you look at money and as being a strategist is even the pivot from thinking you need to make more, right? Most people are like, what can I give up to then have the life of my dreams? That's not the kid. That's not it, y'all. That's not it. And our book in the We Are Wealthy season, because our box comes with the book every single season. And this season, it's How to Be a Millionaire by Rachel Rogers.
Oh, I love that book.
It's so good. And you already know. It talks, especially in the beginning, about this mindset that we have to penny pinch to make it in life. Like, we got to hold on to everything. And it's not like that. It is actually, what can we do? To your point, do you need to go get this second job? Do you need to go apply for this promotion finally? Do you need to use the rewards cash that's on your credit card, right? All these different things. And so I think it's amazing that you as a strategist already have that. And that's what you're coaching your clients and helping your clients do. That's so important.
Yeah. There's a huge difference between a broke mindset and a rich mindset.
That part.
Right? Like, if I gave you, hey, in order to work with me, it's going to cost $500. The broke mindset person would be like, oh, I can't afford that. Let me just walk away now. The rich mindset would be, how can I afford that?
Yes.
Okay, are we going to sell some of this Gucci I'm not wearing? Are we going to hold back on eating out this month so we can work with her? Like, what are we going to do to make this happen? And so I always have to tell people, I'm like, how am I going to do this mindset? I'm like, I got big dreams. God always told me, pray big, dream big. We all make it happen. And so you're not about to tell me, or I'm not even going to tell myself I can't afford. I might not do that because it's not a wise financial decision in that
Right.
time.
Right.
But you better believe as soon as a thought hits my mind, I'm going to figure it out, right?
Yes. Make the plan. Yep.
Plan. Like June of 2020, I heard and learned, oh, you could be a hotel owner. You just need capital to invest and you need a hotel opportunity. I will admit, prior to June of 2020, I didn't know you could own hotels either. That wasn't something I was waiting to know, right? But I met a woman who created a company to help bring investors together to buy hotels and was like, ding, 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 I need to learn more about this.
Yeah.
So even then I was like, I want to do this. I don't know how, I don't know when. I had a hotel within 6 months, less than 6 months. So I feel like when you are diligent about your intention, okay,
Come on. Come on. I
and
need a servant coming out.
okay, according to God's will,
Come on.
it will be done. Okay, so I said, learned about it in June, talked to the ladies on podcast, the Purposeful Money Podcast, episode 26. No lie. Davon Reeves, Jessica Myers. We talked about how the heck do you come together to buy hotels. That episode comes out in September. They send an email about a Hilton home to suite opportunity. I missed the first email. I tell people this all the time. I missed the first email. I was so busy. 2020 was the year my business blew up. Why? Because COVID, life insurance have a strong connection, right? Unfortunately, a lot of people were dying.
Yes. But yeah.
So 2020, I hired my first coach. I hired my first VA. I had leads, business out the wazoo. So I missed the first email about the deal. Didn't even see it. Second email comes, Hilton, would you like to own a Hilton? Of course I would. That was put in my head in June. Like, of course I would. Read it, go through the numbers with my husband, said, yep, I want to do it. The rest is history. Wow. And I said, but that's how I know it was God's will, because most people would have missed the email and never done it. But he gave me a second
chance. Yeah.
Okay, to see it and take action. And then I didn't stall. I saw the email in September. I closed in October. So, and I tell people, I was like, when you're blessed with the resources to make those type of investments, you never know what impact you're going to make. But I am an impact-driven entrepreneur. And I'm going to tell you the impact we need. So October, we went to the hotel. Met the staff. I took my oldest son with me and I said, look, your mom's a hotel owner. This is my hotel. I want you to experience this so you know what it's like. And mind you, this hotel is in Reno, Oklahoma. Oklahoma don't have a lot of people.
Where that at? Where that?
So we get there and they looking around like, who are they? But we met with the staff, and here's what touched my heart. In our first meeting with the staff, we were like, what are some major changes that you experienced in the change of ownership? Because the prior owner owned multiple hotels and in COVID was losing business. So he needed to get rid of his property. So we got to take it over.
Came on it. Yes.
And you would think that we gave them $1 million, right? But what we gave them was PTO, because they never earned time off and they didn't feel like they could take time off, because if they didn't come to work, they didn't have work, right?
Something was exactly. Right.
So they were showing up to work every day. We gave them PTO. We gave them retirement plans, which is standard under our ownership.
The fact that this wasn't already given to them is kind of crazy.
They didn't have So I said, as a financial strategist who's helping people build wealth, to have people who work at the hotel who prior to our ownership could not even save for retirement, could not take one day off because they would not get paid.
My God.
And now they literally have that ability to say, I'm going to take today off and I'm not going to work my burden. I'm going to save for retirement because now I have an account to do it. Because the reality is, if your job doesn't provide it, there are very few people who will still stay outside of work.
For sure.
They don't even know that they can. They're like, oh, my job don't have that. I'm going to have to figure it out.
Right. And never do.
And never.
That's the part.
So I was just like, so literally that brought me to tears. When I heard that, I got really emotional because it was like, we're helping people live better lives because you're able to save for your future. You are not a burden to your children. You are able to provide that legacy. And you'll get to take time off. Like,
right. It's a win-win, everybody.
It's like, hallelujah.
And it's an integrity thing for you, right? Like you said, you can't be out here coaching people on how to do this, but then the businesses that you own and the people that you hire don't have access to the equity, right? The financial equity that actually would produce that. So it makes so much sense. And not all business owners operate that way, right? Business owners have say, oh yes, I believe this and I also practice it. Right. It's the practice and the belief. We need both. We need both. Yeah. That's amazing. I'm really, really, really proud of you. This is amazing. I can't wait because I'm about to own a Hilton. I'm saying, I don't know if it's 2023 or 2024, but it's happening. I've been wanting to open a boutique hotel for a long time, but I would love the opportunity to do like a co-investment, right? And that way I could learn the business even more. And now I do Airbnbs. And so I want to talk about rental properties and what that has looked like for you. I know, girl, it's a lot, especially that property management. The property management is a lot. Right. Well, give our Black women, right, who are a part of this betterness community, what does it look like to own rental properties, and why is that kind of an entryway, right? I see it as a big entryway to building wealth, period. Whether that's wealth for your legacy, whether it's wealth to take it and put into something else, like it's a great entryway. And so let's talk about that and maybe even share your journey through rental properties, et cetera.
So I'm a storyteller, so I'm going to tell you my story first. And then I'm going to tell you where I'm at. Okay?
Love it. Yes.
So truth be told, prior to hotel ownership, I dabbled in rentals. We went to Dubai, I told you, and we rented out our condo for 3 years. Had somebody else paying the mortgage, and we were not paying for housing overseas. So it was like really nice. So 2016, we were in a very fortunate position to not only get our dream home, help my mother-in-law get her condo so she had a place to live for retirement, but we also bought a rental in Philadelphia, West Philadelphia. And I had to go outside of state because in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area where I live, prices were just great. So we went out to Philly in an area where you could get really affordable row houses and then get $1,000 or more on rent, like easily. And so I benefited from an estate sale. There was the previous owner lived there 20 years, passed away. Kids were like, we don't want this house. And I brought together me and a cousin. We offered cash. They took the money and ran. And the house was in really good condition. So we did cosmetic stuff, like fix the kitchen to modernize it, put down some new floors, and get this tenant in. Well, child, after 2 years of that, first year, get a tenant. They're doing great. Then they're not doing great. Eviction. Second tenant comes in. They're doing great. Then they're not doing great. Almost facing eviction. Another investor comes along, offers a good deal. We sell it. We said, you can have it here. So that experience, though, listen, adversity can do two things for you. It can make you discouraged and you quit, or it can challenge you to keep going and become stronger.
Come on.
So that experience, listen, I got into rentals specifically to help provide affordable housing to individuals who needed it in safe communities and safe spaces. That's what I wanted. I have a thesis I wrote where I was like, I'm going to sell my houses to the tenants when they're ready to buy. That's the mentality I went into landlordship, right? So when you have to evict someone, it takes something out of you because it is so contrary to what you intended, what your spirit really wanted to do. But you have to, because my dad told me, he was like, if you can't evict your mama, you shouldn't be a landlord. because they not paying the rent and you still got bills to pay. So you have to be strong.
It's a business. Right. At the end of the day, it's a business. Oh, that's good, girl. That needs to be the title of a book. Somebody needs to write that.
Right. And it ain't my fault. It's Christmas. And you chose to put gifts on the
no ma'am
to pay me.
No ma'am. No,
or whatever. So I had to have a moment with Jesus, right? And I know because I read Robert Kiyosaki at 16 that real estate is the way, but I need another way because this rental stuff and these evictions, it's not aligned with my spirit. So that's when I started seeking. I started praying and seeking on how else can I be in real estate and not have to deal with toilets and tenants. Literally, that is.
I love it. Toilets, because no toilets, toilets. I love it.
That's where first a coworker comes up to me and she's like, "Oh, girl, I do apartment syndications outside of work." I said, "What's that?" She said, "Oh, like the big apartment subdivisions with a lot of the individual units and somebody's managing it. Those are owned by investors. I find those. I find investors. I buy them and I manage it." I said, "What? You could do that?" I said, "In your part-time?" She said, "Yes." I said, "Tell me more." So she starts telling me about their deal and the first one they had. So then I was like, "Ooh, that's real estate, but that's not." I'm a landlord in the sense like I own apartments, but I'm not dealing with individuals because you have a property manager that deals with individuals.
There we go.
You are passively investing your dollars into a deal. So I was like, "Oh, that's a way." And then literally 3 months later, I learned about hotels. In 2020, though, no lie, there were no deals. Like apartment syndications were hard to find. It was like everybody's looking and the pricing was way, way too high. So God sent me a hotel first. But a year later, in July of 2021, I closed on my first apartment syndication, 354 units in Florida.
Sorry, whoa. Whoa. How many?
354 units.
What is this? What in the world? That is a lot of units. That is a lot of tenants. That is a lot of people. And I'm assuming if you were trying to still continue with their affordable housing, that's a lot of impact. I mean, as much as you possibly can.
We next to Universal Studios now.
Yeah, it got to be another one, girl. It got to be another one. That's too touristy.
We're providing benefits and amenities to this. This is not necessarily the same caliber of housing. However, it's a way for me to be in real estate, invest capital.
Yes.
It's dividends. Don't do toilets and tenants. It's perfect.
And I love it. Is that another book that you're going to write? The toilets and tenants? We don't do toilets and tenants. Because sis, this property management is killing me. Like, I'm literally like, let me out. Let me out. I have one of my properties is a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. And I put it on as the short-term rental. But like that turnover and people showing up with 20 people versus the 10 that should be in that house. Nobody got time. I am not going to call you. Like, I am not the person to be like, you got to get out. No, what are we doing? Like, people just do random stuff. And so I understand completely. And I love that that's a challenge and that's a real thing, right? Some people have a passion for property management. It's just not me. It's not me. Okay. And so I love the fact that, like you said, there's so many different ways to be involved in real estate. And I want you to say what you said earlier about, adversity can do one of two things. Yes. What is it?
Discourage you or encourage you.
That part.
That's what it did for me. I was like, let me find a better way because we know that this works. That's the thing. People got to feel. Sometimes they're like, oh, this doesn't work because it didn't work for me. No, millions of people have made millionaire status with real estate. It works. It's just how you go about it. And there's ways, and I've had people tell me, well, you're doing it the slow way because you're passively investing. And if you were the landlord, you'd have more cash flow. I said, I'm not trying to get anywhere too fast. I'm fine right here.
And you already know what it looks like. Like you tried the other part and you're like, oh, that's not for me. That's what's important, to know what is for you and what is not for you, what you can handle and hold right throughout the year. Does it make sense for you to spend X amount of hours every week trying to work with these tenants and toilets? Or does it make sense for you to be a passive earner? I think that's really important, I think, as just an investor in anything, right? That could be for the Hiltons, right? It could be for the apartments. Like, I think that's super, super important to know, and for sure.
To be the same, I don't want to say price exactly because there are different costs involved, but a down payment on a rental is pretty much the initial payment to get into a hotel syndication, apartment syndication, a business syndication. So when you're investing in a specific business, so I'm like, if I'm gonna spend the same amount of money, I might as well give myself less headache. Like, why would I,
Woo, that's a gem. That's a gem right there. Because I don't think, again, it's a knowledge thing. People don't understand that it is the same amount of money. It's about the same amount of money for both. You get to choose what it looks like to invest in and which parts work for you and which parts don't. Like, which one makes sense. Oh, that's so good. That is so good. Okay. We're going to start wrapping up, but this is so good. This is so good. Like, I've learned, first of all, myself so much. So I know that the Black women who are, again, a part of our community, but also yours, right, will really get a great opportunity. Those who end up rewatching the replay and everything. But I want to know what comes to mind when you hear "we are wealthy," right? The theme of our season right now. What comes to mind? What's the first couple of things that you think of?
I think of Black culture and how rich it is. I think of how many other cultures have borrowed, stolen, and taken what we've created, but that only just shows me it's so rich, right? And it has nothing to do with money. It is the way we look, the way we dress, the way our hair coils, kinkles, and curls. It is how we love each other and treat each other like family. It is how we respectfully treat our ancestors and our elders. It is a culture that goes so deep. I am Panamanian on this side and Brooklyn on the other side. I am raised in the South, but have all the articulation of a very highly educated undergrad and master's degree Black woman. I feel like we just don't even understand how valuable we are. And we allow people to undervalue us all the time when our culture has already proven to outlive centuries of other civilizations and other groups. So I think we need to embody that, embrace it, and level it up using all of that passion, expertise, experience, and culture to really rise to the occasion and to be better than our ancestors. So I'm here to level up. The next generation will do better than me, and they will start where I left off. And that is my thoughts.
We are wealthy. That is the we are wealthy. Come on. That is a whole, I have goosebumps right now because I think in this season, right, this is literally our last Wellness Wednesday in this season. And we've been talking about wealth and wellness and the intersection of those, but I don't think anyone's ever discussed the cultural piece of that, right? We talk about kind of the struggle as Black women that we have. We talk about the need for making sure we prioritize wellness, but what does it look like to just appreciate our culture in a way where we can step into a room and just really know we are the magic. We are the sauce. We are the reason half of this stuff even exists in this country. So what does it look like for us to super own that, right? As Black women, as Black people in our culture, and monetize that in a way that can then feed and make sure that our future generations are cared for. I think it's beautiful. Yeah. Oh, love it. Love you and love it. Okay. We're going to wrap up by making sure that everyone who watches this now and who is going to watch the replay knows how to work with you, where to find you, and all of the information.
Awesome. So check me out on Instagram at The Purpose of Money, and definitely check out our website, thepurposeofmoney.com. You can set up a free consultation. We can have a good time. We can talk about your money, and we can get you where you need to be. But Instagram is my favorite place. So you'll find tons of free information there. Thepurposeofmoney.com. You will see blogs, you will see the podcast and ways to connect with me. So check it out.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I can't wait. I guess I got to get this free consultation because I got to figure out how to own a hotel.
Yeah.
What are we doing? Like, it's either that or the apartment one. I'm just trying to diversify. Okay.
Both. What's that? Right? Both. Okay. I don't know why you can't do both. Maybe we spread it over for a couple of years, but I'm all about how can we afford to do both? Yes.
Yes, that's it. That's exactly it. I love this conversation. I hope you enjoyed this conversation. And we can't wait to continue to push this. This will be on our blog, our website, of course, on our Instagram. But we will be in touch as we continue to partner together. I am looking forward to it. You are amazing. And again, thank you for just being you and being in the world with the purpose that you have. And tell your parents, good job. Okay. So I get a good job. Okay. I'll call my mama and be like, thank you for giving me that book. Because it really does change your mindset. So absolutely love it. And now there's one, written by a Black woman, Rachel Rogers. And now we can give that to our little girls and our little boys, how to be a millionaire, or we should all be millionaires. Yeah. So, or you can just buy the box because it's in the box. So that's
that. I love it. That's good. That's a great book, audio book, everything. I read that book and I was like, I need to do more in my life. I need to
that part.
The chef. I need to cover this.
Right. What does she have? A house manager? I was like, there's such a thing as a house manager.
And I was like, yep, I agree with you, Rachel. I need to make this coin so I can cover what I need to be the best me.
That part.
My husband, I was like, it's not in my spirit to cook anymore. So it's
not your ministry no more, girl. It's not your ministry. We need a chef. Right. And it's a normal thing. It is so normal.
Now we both have, we won't live without our chef. I
love it.
He's helped provide space where we can be fuller parents because we're not trying to figure out dinner. And so, I said, how can I afford it? That is my motto.
That part. Invest in yourself so that you can be a better self, right? That's exactly what you were saying earlier. It's like invest this $500 with you, but what are you getting in return? Like you are getting a whole strategy or you're getting all of these things that are actually going to triple, quadruple, and more that $500. So I think that is another thing we can leave our listeners with. It is the idea of investing in yourself and other things as well, right? That will allow you to do these other investments. So I think that's huge.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, girl. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you again. Thank you everyone for listening. And I saw all the hearts and all the haze. So thank you again for engaging with us. Make sure to send this to 5 of your friends. Send this after it goes up in the next few minutes. Send it to 5 of your friends so that they can get this good knowledge about all the possibilities and get connected with the purpose of money. I love it.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Have a good night. Bye.
Bye.
Hey sis, we thank you for honoring yourself by taking the time to listen to the Good, Better, Betterness podcast. Thank you for joining us on the journey to betterness.